1.5, 1.2, 1.1, 0. We're live. I hope we're live. Hello, EOS Nation. Hello, everyone. Kicking off the weekend with the ultimate spiciness. I'm here joined again by my co-host, Stéphane Bisson. How are you doing, everyone, outside in the chat? Welcome to the Hot Sauce Live, episode 129. Hey, Steph, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Martin. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing well. It's getting cold here. I'm getting like all cozy. Looking forward for some nice seasonal holidays coming up. Yeah, it's but we got some hot sauce, so it's nice and warm here.
Yeah, we just had our first snowstorm out here in Montreal, and I'm looking forward to another snowstorm so I can crack out my cross-country skis, which I started doing last year, which is pretty cool. And yeah, excited to get back out there, do some sports. Feels like it's been a while since I've been moving my body. But for today, we're focusing on the spiciness, and we're focusing on EOS, Wax, and Ultra.
Right, exactly. So hello everyone in the chat. Hey, the fish one, Nexory 88, Miro C. Everybody else that's watching, feel free to ask questions, join us in the chat. We will visit the chat and see, hey, slow long boys. Today's topic we have, well, Brock Pierce gave a nice interview, the guys at Bywire, with the guys of Bywire, which we're going to touch upon, like the most important points. If you haven't watched it, it's highly recommended. It's like an hour long, really in-depth interview about Brock, his mission with Helios. We get into this in a bit. Then we talk about the EOS recognition grants by the EOS Network Foundations. They had wave 4 being paid and wave 5 announced. Then we have some Wax news. We have some more Pomelo grant stats and some upcoming NFTs on Wax and Ultra. No, on Ultra, no NFTs there yet, but hopefully soon. There's some nice document that we're going to go through later on. Anything that I've missed?
No,
today's hot sauce?
Sounds about right. So let's jump right into it. Let's jump into the biggest topic of the week, which was the Brock Pierce interview on Bywire. I'm sure many people in our community have seen the interview. If you have not, probably a good idea to go check it out. We're not going to go through over all the points today, but we will highlight some of them. In particular, I'm going to highlight a few of the things that Brock said in terms of what went right for EOS. And then we'll also go into, and then Martin's going to touch upon the plans for Helios that Brock shared with us in this interview. So Brock mentioned, a bunch of things that he think, what went wrong, what happened. But today we're just going to focus on what he said, what went right, which include stuff like the fact that block.one is not the main stakeholder anymore, or for EOS, and that block.one is not seen as a central authority driving EOS. And that could have some interesting legal repercussions in the future. He was also very impressed that the EOS Network Foundation, was grown from the community and was not implemented by B1 or not implemented by the founding group that launched the network, which he claimed is unique in the blockchain space, because usually these foundations are created by the creators of the network, by the founding team, whereas in our case, it really emerged from the community, from community consensus after the network was already live. So that's very unique. And Brock thinks that this is, a strength of EOS. He also mentioned that him and Dan Lemmer are now both working independently within the EOS community, both on their own projects, which is great, and which is not necessarily something that they had the flexibility or the ability to do while they were either working for block.one or as shareholders of block.one. So that's definitely nice to see. and also mention, like I said earlier, regarding the legal implications of the way that block.one is not seen as a central authority driving EOS. Brock claims that, you know, in 5 years from now, the clearance that EOS got from the SEC might be the best thing ever. And he also mentioned that a lot of these other layer one projects in the crypto space are being scrutinized right now to see if they do fall into the definition of a security by the SEC. Um, and then of course he talked about Helios and his vision for Helios, which Martin, you can touch upon if you want.
Yeah, yeah, that's the interesting part, right? That everybody's looking, that everybody's exciting about. We just had somebody in the chat saying that we are a little bit quiet today. Maybe Jana, that's something that you need to regulate. I'm trying to get a little bit closer to the microphone. Let us know if the volume is better right now. And I will look into what Brock was announcing. Basically, like, so there is a bigger event or an event planned that Brock will hold in Puerto Rico, and all the reveal of who's the Helios team and what is their plans, like really concrete announcements we can expect on the 7th of December as part of the blockchain Puerto Rico blockchain week. That's you know, where Brock is spending a lot of time, and a couple of other EOS people also moved there. I think it's nice. His idea is to bring back the band together, yeah, that's the date. He also reached out not just to the EOS community, but to the wider EOSIO community. So other networks like Wax, Ultra, Telos, you know, FIO, all the other ones that I've maybe forgot. He, like Helios, is really aiming to bring EOSIO forward as a whole. So we can expect some more details on that on the 7th. What he also said is that, so he's a figure, a public figure in a lot of in the whole crypto scene, and throughout his life as an entrepreneur and as an investor, he has a lot of connections and a lot of experience, and he will make this all work for EOS. But some of the wallets that he invested in, or like crypto ATM providers, he will use his connection, his influence to probably also get EOS listed there, and that it's establish EOS more in the wider crypto scene. Another thing that he mentioned is EOS Hubs. So he wants to see physical locations in a lot of like major cities, where people can go and learn about EOS, or you know, have workshops. He sees the first hubs, EOS hubs, was kind of the term that he used, in cities like, again, Puerto Rico, Israel, and Seoul. Potentially others might come up, because Helios is really at right now forming. This group is forming right now, and one thing that was also shared is this Google form, which we will put in the show notes later on, where you can basically reach out to the Helios team, show like what you've done, give a little bit of intro, and yeah, be part of this this kind of other organization that's forming. And one thing that he described, like how he positions Helios. So the ENF, the EOS Network Foundation, in his perspective, is like the treasury of the EOS ecosystem, whereas Eden is the way how the governance election process for executive offices is organized. And Helios he sees like an investment arm, where really like for-profit projects can go, and he can, like, with his team, start to talk to them, incubate them, maybe bring other projects over to EOS. It's really like more like a traditional VC. Yeah, I think that's rounds it kind of up. So if you feel like you want, like, here you see like all the different people that they're looking for, what kind of skill sets they're looking for. If that is something that you would be interested in, really reach out. I think Brock right now is really open to talks, and everybody else in the team. Yeah, he also mentioned something earlier this week regarding Bullish, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I thought I remembered seeing a tweet about him saying that Bullish is launching this week. I think he might have deleted that tweet, or maybe it was just mentioned in the video. I couldn't find the tweet this morning looking for it. But we do see here that he says launch is happening, so we will have clarity soon. And this is talking about how Bullish is going to be launching, how it's going to impact EOS, etc. What is interesting is that he says. Also, this was one of the points that he made in the video, is that he thinks that Bullish has the potential to make EOS the settlement layer for Bitcoin and USDT. And if that becomes even partially true, it would be huge for EOS, which I totally agree. It would be huge if this becomes true. And then what we can see on chain on EOS, actually, we do see a bit of activity from what seems like a Bullish related account called Bullish Funds. It has 1.8 million EOS in it. And then if we scroll down here for the transactions, we'll see that we see some transactions going on. I'm not sure if all of these are actually related to Bullish or these are test transactions or whatever, but we do see that there's some activity, there's some EOS moving around. So it does seem like something it did happen this week with Bullish, although there was nothing publicly announced. People in the community were talking that I think the launch was maybe just for the institutions, and then the public launch to the wider crypto space will be later on. So we're looking forward to learning more about that. And so again, if you want to learn more, I mean, if you're interested in EOS, I really do think this interview is important for everyone to watch. So if you haven't had the chance to watch it, definitely take the time to watch it, and you can make your own opinions about what block.one says about block.one, about his plans for the future, etc.
Yeah, and shout out to the Bywire crew. They really did a good job. They're really ramping up like the EOS articles, lots of stuff going on there. So kudos to Bywire.
Yeah, absolutely. Bywire's been doing a good job. The interview was good. They also have a recap of the interview in the article here that we see. So feel free to check that out if you want more information about that interview.
Yeah, and Bywire also was one of the people that received an EOS network recognition grant. I think that was in the wave that targeted like EOS media. That was pretty early on. I think it was wave 1 or wave 2. Wave 4 was just paid out, and that was like the developer tooling and auditors. Yves Laurence, the chairman of the EOS Network Foundation, tweeted this out. Transfer is out. So kudos to EOS Power Up. Congratulations to Slowmist, EOS Studio, Aloha EOS, EOS Authority, Jungle Testnet, and Sentinel. Auditing and developer tools are needed for sure, but what's more crucial even, and is the first point of contact for everybody that wants to interact with applications or EOS, are the wallets. And the wallets are the target, or the recipients, all the wallets actually are the recipients for the wave number 5. So there were a couple of over the last three and a half years, there were a bunch of standards, a bunch of wallets were integrated. Different apps were using different onboarding tools. Then there was the Power Up, and different wallets have different ways to give resources to their users and simplifying this. I think what the EOS Network Foundation is trying to do with the working groups, which we see here, Wallet Plus, led by the Greymass team, is really unifying and standardizing and bringing like one direction and one approach that the user experience from the very first point is really seamless and smooth. And that is a benefit for every new user, and also for the developers that build their applications, and that they can rely on that the onboarding, the roads into the city are just like smooth and there's no friction. So how are the solutions that the EOS Network Foundation suggests?
Sure. So Yeah, exactly. So, like you mentioned, the problem you touched upon the problems that we have with the wallets in the current ecosystem, and some of the solutions proposed, include a better open source SDK, which is a software development kit that's used by developers. It, Having better SDKs would make the job for developers much easier. Having better protocols, maybe a unified protocol that's either using an identical protocol across all wallets, or at least unifying the capabilities of different ones. Again, to make it easier on developers and on users as well. So establishing standards for things like data formats and user interfaces across all wallets could make it easier for users when they're switching from one wallet to another, excuse me. And then along with this Wallet Plus working group, this week was announced the 5th wave of EOS Network Foundation recognition grants, and these go out to the wallets in our ecosystem. So we've got Anchor Wallet, which is very popular, built by Team Greymass. We've got Mikey, which is also a very strong wallet. I know Denis Carrière, our CTO, was a big user of this wallet in the early days of EOS. Token Pocket, very popular wallet, multi-chain, self-custodial, used tremendously by the Asian community in EOS. The Start EOS wallet, which was there with Start EOS from very early in the network. And finally, EOS Argentina got a grant for their MetaMask implementation of EOS that was released a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago. Not too sure exactly on the timing. So this it's great to see that the wallets in our ecosystem are being recognized for the great work that they've done. And we're looking forward to seeing how the working group is going to be able to, streamline all of these wallet interfaces and experiences and remove some of the friction that is currently there for these wallets.
Yeah, and I really like also the closing remarks that Eve gave in this article, where he again summarizes that the network, since the EOS Network Foundation started ramping up activity, we see a bunch of new momentum building up in the community, as he expressed it, from stagnation to an accelerated pace of innovation and development. And I think with the working groups being announced and all these wallets and all these players in our ecosystem actually getting like a recognition grant, this acceleration is just not, it's all running in parallel. I think that's the idea here, with like really strategically doing all these investments.
In parallel, but also in a coordinated fashion, which was kind of missing before in the ecosystem, where these teams were kind of building their own products in their own silos without necessarily having an organization like a foundation to coordinate all of these efforts to make them unified. It's definitely pretty exciting stuff going on.
Right. So
again, if you're looking for this article or other articles, you can also check our show notes. We'll be including all the links after the show to these articles.
Yes, absolutely. And like, while all this momentum, and the activity that's going on, I mean, this is all for the applications, for the builders. What we also see is like more activity in the socials. I think they're like, we touched upon Bywire putting more articles, and we have like more and more events coming to the EOS community Discord. The Eden Chief Delegates will do an AMA on the 30th, which is coming Tuesday at 2002, how do you say that?
2200 UTC.
2200 UTC. Sorry, I blanked there. So the AMA is a little bit, I think, with all the activity that's going on, we haven't heard really the position, the political position of the chief delegates, how Eden is as a representative positioning themselves. So this might be a really interesting AMA. And if you have like specific questions, it's highly recommended that you join this event. We added a completely new feature to the Discord, where when you join the EOS community Discord, you can just go to the very top of our server and you see all the events that are coming up. You can also just create one if you want, and you can choose the voice chat or the stage chat, or if you have a completely new idea for an event, reach out to the mods team, so we can organize something there together. The Discord is really the accelerator for the community at the moment. So since the Eden chief delegates do their AMA, and the Eden open mic that was usually every Monday, will be a little bit rebranded to a more general EOS chat. So we will have every Monday at 2200 UTC the weekly EOS fireside chat, and yeah, you're all very welcome to join live in the Discord. The link to the Discord will also be in the show notes for you to join if you're not there yet. But we'll also record all these events and we'll publish them on a new dedicated YouTube channel for the EOS community, which we will share later on.
One thing I wanted to
Yeah.
add about the chief delegates AMA, I know that some people were asking the chief delegates, like, hey, what's your opinion on this, political aspect of EOS or that? Some of them were like, because in Eden, their political stance was not related to being elected. So these people were not elected based on their political stances. They were really elected based on their ideas of what they want to build for EOS. However, these guys are clearly some of our community leaders in EOS, and the EOS community is still interested in hearing what they say, and that's kind of where this AMA is coming from.
Right. Yeah, join the Discord. Both events will be pretty interesting. Another thing that the Eden of official chief delegates still do is the delegate meetings. We will put a link to this in the chat as well. It's a pretty long conversation, 2.5 hours. They really go overtime all the time, but it's really interesting stuff there. But it's just basically all this activity in Eden right now is very much centered in the Western community. So I want to bring some attention to one Pomelo grant, and quick head up, like last call for applications. If you have an application, you still have like 1 day to hand it in and a couple of more days to donate. But one grant that I think is really interesting and important to be recognized in the community is like the effort of the Chinese community to build their own Eden. They won't do this right away, but it really starts with the similar way how the Western Eden community, or the Genesis Eden community, as it's called, acted. Which with a series of like mock elections, trying it out, like introducing people to the process, potentially adjusting it to the cultural realm, what works. Like we know that accessing certain web applications for Chinese people is a little bit harder. So testing what would work is really the first approach of this grant. And voting for this grant is really signaling that the original idea of multiple Edens, like fractal democracy, is really valid. We need to have a multitude of Edens, so every Eden can, in their cultural realm, in their language, practice consensus building, and then we have representative of all these multiple Edens come together and build a, let's say, global consensus. So this grant is, it went out a little bit later. I think, yeah, it's a week now. Since a week, it's live. We see already 63 contributors, but I think there's room for more action on this grant. I'm really like close to the Chinese community, so I hope this gets more recognition, and we will have with the next Eden election for the Western community, we will also have some form of Eden election for the Chinese community. Yeah. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I'll definitely be sending a donation to this grant. I did a nice wave of donations at first when Eden came out, but there's been a lot more grants that have been published since. And so it's definitely on my to-do list over the next few days before the donation period ends, to go back over the grants, see which ones I haven't seen yet, and spread a bit of love to those new grants as well, including this one.
Yeah, talking about new grants, look at this pie chart. Looks pretty interesting, right? We have a bunch of action going on Pomelo actually. Let's look at the stats.
That's right.
Quickly.
So quickly, almost end of season stats update for you guys. I know we did the halftime stats update, but personally, I keep being impressed by these numbers. Total grants, you got 196 grants that have applied, which is great. Shows how many passionate community members are in EOS with ideas of what they want to build to help EOS. 96 have been denied, which is fine because this is still a learning process. A lot of people have been putting up grants that are more for-profit oriented instead of the public good, which is what this Pomelo season is really focused on. So a lot of these denied grants probably are because of that disconnect a bit. But we still have 77 published, which is great. It's a lot of grants to scroll through and throw some EOS their way if you like what you see. Total raise, we got 18,000 EOS, which is 84,000 US dollars at the time of donation, which is absolutely great. Definitely surpassed my expectations of what I wanted to see. We got 500,000 matching pool from the ENF, another 84,000 that came from all the individual contributors, and we've had 4,200 contributions from 777 unique contributors. Nice number there for the unique contributors at the time of the snapshot, which was, I think, maybe 24 or 48 hours ago this snapshot was taken. We also do want to quickly mention that for those who participated in the Pomelo NFT promotion that we did a few months ago, we promised that all of the EOS that we would raise through the sales of these Pomelos NFTs would be donated back to the matching pool. So we're still going to be doing that. That's 1,000 EOS that you can expect to see in the matching pool before the end of this season. And speaking of Pomelo NFTs, Denis been hard at work on building some new NFT mechanics. He's pretty excited to share with the community. So we're going to have another Pomelo NFT series for season 2, as a way to have some fun with some NFTs, promote Pomelo, and again raise some funds that are again going to be donated to the Pomelo platform. Not sure exactly what the donation is going to look like. When season 1 came up and when we did this $1,000 raise, we didn't know that there was going to be $500,000 in the matching pool at that time. So stay tuned for more details about that. We'll be announcing it in the next little bit.
Yeah, and we are now already official in the NFT segment of this show, which brings us over to the Wax ecosystem today. And there's a quite interesting new drop coming up, which looks action loaded. The blockchain Brawlers coming to Wax, but also it's going to be cross-chain. So Wax has some kind of partnership here with Binance. So the first few editions of these looks like wrestlers or catchers. I kind of like the style of them. Looks fun. They're all unique ones, it seems. So it plays a little bit with the PFP things. So you can have your unique blockchain brawler and identify with it or have it as your profile picture. But it seems like you can also do some game at some point with it. That's not necessarily also clear yet. What's clear and what's announced is that there's going to be some cross-chain activity. So there will be a bridge between Wax and Binance. It seems like an NFT bridge. We will see the first wave of these blockchain brawlers will be auctioned off at Binance, but the packs and a bunch of other NFTs will be auctioned shortly after on the Wax auction house, which is something that recently was announced. They do quite a bit of auctions now regularly, right? And
Yeah,
I see
absolutely.
some poker.
and it's great to see the the Binance bridge integration. I'm sure that's going to bring even more attention to Wax from people that might not be in the ecosystem yet, that might be in the Binance ecosystem. So these bridges that Wax is building to these various other blockchain platforms, I think is really good, and I think it's going to help with a Wax adoption. Yeah, so here we see the new auction page for Wax. It's been up for a little bit. There's been a few auctions that have been completed. Now live, we've got some World Series of Poker auctions, which I think is great. I've played a lot of poker in my life. I've actually been to Vegas, played in a few World Series of Poker events. And yeah, so now they're selling some of their top WSOP moments as one-of-one auctions on this page. So definitely check it out if you're interested in that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the auction house really focuses on one-on-ones. And that's something that I personally like, that I really like. Usually on Wax, we see now with the games coming up, we see really like a lot of like high mint numbers as NFTs and NFT games. The NFTs become less. I mean, they become also collectible, but more utility, like a commodity that you use in a game. And I think with the auction house, we open up for like more rare items. Can be game items like with the blockchain brawlers, can be like really rare collectibles. And yeah, also some art. We saw some interesting artists dropping on Wax recently as well. Yeah, so here are some of the poker bids that are still going on. They go now for quite a bit here, right?
So that one was done. So yeah, so that was done for the Chris Moneymaker, which is kind of the genesis of the latest poker craze when he won the World Series. Definitely an important moment in poker history. And then we've got some current bids here for Stu Unger, one of the legends of poker. Phil Helm, same things. The bids are currently pretty low, 185 wax, but I do expect these bids to ramp up as the auction nears its final time, which is in 2 days and 4 days for these auctions.
Right. And I just talked about all the games that are coming up. We see a lot of like games like Farming World, but one game that really made an impression on me when I saw this gameplay here is HODL God. HODL God did their first sale, I think, like a year ago, or the NFTs are traded already since a while, and now I see what's actually going on here. So this looks pretty nice from the graphics, and some people like I don't know if you know KG. KG has been an influencer or a KOL for a lot of like blockchain games. He's been like in Axie Infinity pretty early, and a couple of other ones. So pretty nice here. And he obviously enjoyed some Wax games right now. So it's great to see more and more recognition for Wax NFTs and Wax games, Wax blockchain games for in the wider crypto scene. Talking about blockchain games, I think we have also some activity. Oh, from Ultra, but before Ultra, there's a quick news that came in that I wanted to touch upon. Is like I think a couple of episodes before we talked about that a couple of Venezuelan EOS enthusiasts from the EOS marketplace, EOS microloan, had some issues with authorities there because they're thinking, oh, what are you doing there with like some currency and blockchain and crypto? So they were getting into some issues, and there were some petitions circulating, and it seems right now with the support of the whole EOS community and also from the people from microloan and marketplace, EOS has now been cleared and legalized in Venezuela, and the platform that like the equivalent to the SEC in the US in Venezuela is a SunaCrypt, and here we see some official documents that clarify that working with EOS applications in Venezuela is absolutely legit and legal. So that's really great news, and thank you for everyone that supported their petition earlier on. The whole thing got cleared, super nice. But now let's move to some Ultra stuff.
Yes, exactly. So let me share my screen here. And we'll go over some recent news for Ultra. So here we see what seems to be a fan base built website, and it gives you a nice overview of a lot of relevant information for Ultra. So we've got the price here. Quick little note on the price. Last week we were around 2,000 satoshis when I said, highlighted how well the price has been doing for Ultra. The trend has continued. We've doubled again in satoshi since then, so that's pretty amazing. Clearly, the GameFi movement in the crypto space keeps picking up steam. That GameFi means the financialization of assets within games. NFTs are a big part of that, of course, and Ultra really is focused exactly on this. So it's not surprising to see some great price action here for Ultra. Back on to the Ultra resources.info site, we see accounts created, total accounts, 12,000 accounts. Definitely, if you haven't created your account yet, you can definitely do so. The wallet is up. Although you can't play games just yet, you can definitely get in there, get started. Here you'll see a list of articles, basically all the articles that Ultra has published over the last few years. The latest one was Ultra's NFT standard, which we touched upon last week, and then a partnership with Microids, which is a game publisher, has been announced, and they've announced that they'll be bringing many of their titles to the Ultra platform. Here we see a list of impressive partnerships that are currently active for Ultra. Not going to go through all of them, but I encourage you to go visit and click around to see what kind of partnerships, stuff like shopping.io allows you to buy on Amazon with Ultra tokens. Of course, Ubisoft, one of the biggest game developers in the world, AMD, one of the biggest game chip developers in the world, Diffuse for history services, Tether for streaming, Atari for a lot of games, Sandbox for their metaverse plans. Ultra has a big plot in the Sandbox metaverse. So does Gems, by the way. We've got a small plot or a few smaller plots in Sandbox near the Ultra base. So we're looking forward to see what they do with that. Of course, Sandbox has been appreciating in value a lot in the last few weeks, ever since the metaverse metaverse narrative took over the crypto space after Facebook rebranded to Meta. We've got Skybound, another gaming company, and a few other partnerships here that are interesting to check out. And so, and then there's tons more information on the block producers. Of course, EOS Nation is one of the 5 block producers on Ultra right now. We've got a bunch of community updates that has a ton of great information, some podcasts, some AMAs and interviews, a bunch of guides, again, created by the community, and all sorts of other information. So nice little website for those of you who want to learn more about Ultra.
Right, and we go here really like full circle. I mean, when we started this show with like talking about Brock Pierce and his plans with Helios and him bringing back the band, Ultra is also EOSIO. So this is all some big like family where we can learn from each other's. In like the people that are working on the wallet for Ultra right now, they come from the EOS community. They have been building Scatter, right? So giving them an opportunity to share their expertise with us right now is really what's going on in the whole EOSIO ecosystem right now. And Brock leading this and being like a point where people can contact and see what's going on, and him bringing all these people potentially together in first for his event on the 7th of December in Puerto Rico, but also as like a contact point to really see where are synergies and where can we all learn from each other with the code EOSIO, and what we can do with it is significant. There's so much potential for making this a well-rounded, wider blockchain ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things, that's pretty exciting right now in EOS and wider EOSIO space, is I feel like these communities are starting to come together more. And that's in part because there's now some organizations, some foundations that are helping coordinate that together. So pretty exciting stuff. And looking forward to see how it all plays out in the coming weeks and months. So thanks everyone for joining. We see a few other people in the chat here. We've got Danny, we got Suber. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Swalong Boy.
With Zach Gall joining. Hey, Zach.
Zach Gall, legend, EOS legend in the chat. What's up? Irfan here mentioned that Wax also got a partnership with DeFi Box, which is true. Something that we could have definitely mentioned. DeFi Box is, I think, expanding in to Wax, and also DeFi Box has also been. They have a grant up on Pomelo for an NFT standard that they're working on, and they want to help EOS elevate its NFT game. So definitely check that out if that's something you're interested in.
Awesome. So I think that's it for today. Thanks for joining everyone in the chat, everyone that rewatches this. Make sure to join us in the Discord for the upcoming events and to connect to the community. Like there's for every aspect of our ecosystem and our community, there's a channel where you can ask questions, where you can learn or just have a good time. Welcome everyone. And thank you for joining the EOS Hot Sauce number 129. By the way, how did the spicy rare do? Are there still some of the spicy rares available?
I hope so. I forgot to claim mine this week.
Yeah, let's see this. We usually do this.
Do we
at
have
least once a show?
Do we have the link handy?
Let me quickly go for it. Sorry for the delay, but if you want, you can still hang out in the chat a little bit. I need to know if there's still some of those special Brock Pierce spicy rares available.
Nova Crypto and Michael B in the chat. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us.
All right, there's one left.
Oh no! Oh no! All right, I won't take it. I'll let someone else grab it. I might go buy mine off the market. So I might go buy mine off the market in a few days.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, that's a wrap for today. Are we doing a terrible outro cheer again, Martin? Terribly timed outro.
Let's do the traditionally terrible outro cheer.
All right.
It goes. Let's keep it spicy.
Spicy. All right. See you next week, everyone.
That was terrible.
Stop screen share.
We are still on, guys. My mouse to stop the stream just has no battery anymore. Okay, I end it now. Bye.